What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Prince Vince. Hey, this is a PSA, man. There's something that I noticed going on. White men are abandoning truck driving because they're claiming that with truck driving, that's commercial truck driving, the big trucks with the long trailers. They're claiming that truck driving has become like a sweatshop on wheels and that there's not enough money in it. Now, I'll keep it real. I know a lot about truck driving, and the way that you make the most money in truck driving is through two ways. You can do team driving, which is you and another motherfucker, which is likely to be some white dude in the truck, and y'all ride together. There's also the owner operator thing, but that can be a very shaky ordeal. I'm going to talk about a lot of it. I got a cousin, and see, there's some that they are letting happen. They kind of easing up on felons. They really need truck drivers, and they're kind of easing up on brothers, people in general who got felony charges. A drug trafficking charge, not possession, but a trafficking charge might hold you up. Truck driving, trafficking, you can imagine why that would probably hold you up. But a lot of people that got felonies on their record, a lot of black men with felonies on their record are getting into truck driving. And that's an industry that is ripe for black male takeover. I got a couple friends who went through truck driving school. Both of them went to truck driving school. Well, three. Two of them went in Memphis, Tennessee. The other one went, I think, in Atlanta. And in Memphis, he said that 70% of the people in a 30-something man class was pretty much black. He said that there was just as many black and white females as what there were white men. He said, in a class of 36 people, there was maybe like 7 white dudes and like two black girls, 3 white girls, and everybody else was a black male. So it's an industry that a lot of brothers are moving into, and here are the qualifications. Listen closely. Preferably no felony. A clean driving record for at least the last 3 to 5 years. You need to have a valid license. Like if your license is suspended for unpaid tickets, child support, that's the biggest thing. And see, that's part of the reason why this so-called white supremacist system, that's why it goes after your license. Because if they take your license, they know that they taking a lot from you. They can make you invisible by taking your license. Because if they take your license, they'll also take your ability to get a state ID. And you can't even identify yourself. With every job that you get, you got to present an ID. With damn near everything you do in this country, you got to present an ID. You know what I'm saying? You can't even legally get in the club with no state ID or license. You know what I'm saying? For all y'all who still clubbing. But it's a key thing to fight for. Something worth fighting for is your driver's license. So if your driver's license is suspended, whatever type of holy jihad that you have to go on to get your license back, you need to get your license, man. Because these commercial driver's license jobs are starting out at 50, 60, and 70 stacks a year. And there's a test. It's kind of hard, they say, but if you study for it, it's not too hard. It's a hazmat test where you can drive like chemicals, gas, fingernail polish remover, any type of chemical. And those jobs start out at close to 100 stacks a year. But the key thing, like I say, is that if you're going to drive without a hazmat, that's hazardous material endorsement, you need to do team driving. That's how you're going to make that 50, 60,000 that they're talking about. You're not going to make that solo driving. You're only going to make about 25, 30,000 a year starting out as a solo driver. If you do team, you'll start out at anywhere from 50 to 60 stacks a year. Here are the benefits. Here are the pros and the cons. I'll start out with the cons. The cons is that, number one, watch what truck driving school you go to. And if you own that weed, put that weed down, bro. You need to find out if that school, the company that they send to, do they want to send you to a company that pull hair? If they take a hair-based drug test, If you done smoked anything in the last 6 months to a year, they can pick that up. So you might want to ask, be slick about it, ask if they give a piss test. Because you can put the weed down for a month or two and still, you need to just stop smoking that shit, period. Because marijuana is just used as a blackmail blocking tool for employment. Every job, even jobs that are easy, that a weed head can sit there and work all day, they going to ask you to do a piss test. So it's best to just find you another habit, man. I don't care if it's candy and sweets or, malt liquor or something, man. But with malt liquor, you can fuck around and get a DUI. And that's something you don't need on your record. So the cons is that you need to get past the drug test. You're on the road. You're going to be on the road 26, 27 days a month. You're going to have to do that for at least a year or two. You got to drive what's called OTR. That's over the road for at least a year or two before you get enough qualifications and skills that these little local companies will hire you. When these little local companies hire you, then you can come home every day, 2 or 3 days a week, or you can just drive for Coca-Cola, Walmart, Budweiser, or somebody like that, where you'll be gone for maybe 4, 5, 6 days, but then you turn around and get like 2 and 3 days in a row off. Or just some little local, it might be pulling nothing but wood, you know what I'm saying? Like manufactured boards or something from a warehouse to a little construction site no more than 100 miles away. On the plus side of it, you get to do a lot of traveling. You will get to see a country that is not, you'll start to lose the notion that the country is the white man's country. You'll just be like, this is God's creation. You'll see that America has a whole lot to it. America got hills, mountains, flatland, desert, beaches, every imaginable landscape. We got mountains, mountains, mountains. There's part of the country that are hot as hell. There's parts of the country that are cold as hell. You'll get to travel and see the country, but you got to get them 2 years experience in. And one thing you'll see is that black people are largely boxed into the poor parts of the country, that black people desperately need to expand, because white people are living in these little towns of 150,000 people that got twice the amount of money flowing through it as Detroit. Well, it might be a small town, but it's rich as hell. And they don't do nothing but sit on the lake all day with boats and ride the river and go to amusement parks and skydive and cliff hang. Just live leisurely lives while you in the ghettos shooting each other up. You will see that black people are condensed and compressed into very small areas of the inner city. That there's not many of us outside the country. Outside of the major cities. There just isn't. But those are the pros and the cons, man. But the key thing is that you need to get your driver's license back, and that if you don't have no DUIs, now if you got DUIs, forget about it, man. That need to be like maybe 10, 15 years ago. If you got any driving under the influence charges within the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years, don't even waste your time. Stop this video right now. They're not going to let you get in that truck with a DUI on your record. I'm sorry for wasting your time. I probably should have said that starting out, but you're not going to be able to get in that truck. And like I said, this truck driving industry is an industry black men are taking over. And the last thing I'll say is this. When you get your license back, or if you start calling truck driving companies, here's a keynote. There's a truck driving company called CR England. Do not go with them motherfuckers. They're the easiest company to get into, but don't fuck with them. They're a horrible company. Don't fuck with them. But Roadmaster Driving School, they're a driving school, but they might try to get you to give a lump sum of money up front. The only thing that you should be willing to pay for is your plane ticket or either your bus ticket to that school, and you will pay for all the meals for the 3-week truck driving course. To get a commercial license is basically just a 3-week class. And it's not like college. You're not going to have a $50,000 tuition hanging over your head when it's all over with. You're going to have about a $5,000 to $7,000 student debt. And part of the pros is that whatever company you go with is going to pay that loan off after you drive for them for about 6 months to a year. So you ain't doing nothing but making money and you ain't got no student debt over your head. But do not let a school convince you to pay a large lump sum of money up front. The only thing you should pay for is basic entry fees. They might have to do a DMV check on your criminal background check. Pay for that if they ask, but do not pay for the school up front unless you just got it like that. If you just got it like that, you can go ahead and pay for the school up front. But there's countless numbers of schools that have commercial truck drivers school tuition reimbursement, student reimbursement, like Schneider, them big orange trucks, they're a pretty decent company. But you start not making money, you got all these black women who are in student debt up to their ears, and you're going to be starting out making way more money than a lot of these sisters that's going around boasting and bragging. And then on top of that, you ain't even got that student debt. You can start buying property, buying land, investing in real estate, get your portfolio on, start trying to, gamble in the Wall Street casino, buying land. That's what we need to be doing. And land purchasing will be nothing when you making $50,000-$60,000 a year starting out. And like I say, if you get that hazmat endorsement, you're gonna be making close to, 80,000-100,000 a year. So that's an industry that black men are moving into. We're not getting any credit for taking it over, but these commercial truck driving schools are being filled up with black men. We need to get into that profession. Black men. Let's get it while it's there for us to get, and let's just lift ourselves up and do better. It's your boy Vince Rashad, and I'm up out of here, man, with this PSA.